do it, but it's going to be hard.
I think Freak brings up a good point here, though, in the ability to flex this Fizz, especially when you're playing against Faker. You may deny him the early Syndra, maybe he plays into you anyways. But at least remove some flexibility in the draft from SKT.
And it confuses the bans a little bit. You don't want to ban a top laner or a mid laner here, and prevents a pinch if there is one. They can still pick the clip later, but it's not worth it to ban. I want to point out the Nami pick, though. Wolf, probably the best Nami in the world right now, is still a good laner into Karma. So being able to play Nami at this level allows you to kind of give one shielding support over and still have a good support on your side.
It always has been considered kind of the pseudo counter pick to Karma, and that is why they were willingly leaving it open. It is no surprise that the Flash Wolves picked Karma first rotations. SKT had the answers ready. This is all pretty planned out in their regard.
I want to point out the Thresh ban coming through from SKT, though maybe they didn't know what they wanted to ban in the first place, but considering that Karma's already been picked, I guess they're respecting the fact that maybe Maple goes for Karma mid, and there's still a support left up, thinking about what might be good into Nami otherwise. And with double flex pick, it certainly could be a possibility. Caitlyn now off the table as well. We'll see who gets grabbed.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe an early Varus is what then being left open. Varus Nami into Ashe Karma. I feel like you could punish that pretty well, but even if you play the opposite, Ashe Nami into Varus Karma, all playable.
Yep. Skill matchup as it is.
Yeah, it's
we'll see what kind of style they play.
Just keeping Betty away from the safe ADs here. Ashe and Varus, while they can be long range, do not have the dashes to get away.
Yeah, and that forces it pretty well too. You know, Huni playing the Rumble with the Equalizer, very good against these static 80 carries. It doesn't matter whether it's a Varus or an Ashe. Like, the Caitlyn could at least 90 caliber out the Equalizer and contribute to the fight.
I really like this Echo Band, because with Fizz picked up and Echo Band away, it sets up a really easy Syndra take for Maple. You assume Fizz goes top, Karma goes support. He gets to blind the Syndra with most of the counter picks not available at all for Faker to pick. He's got to go somewhere else with it. There is the Varus picked up as you predicted. Good call on that, and we'll see what comes in next.
I mean, it was a 50-50. You saw him hover both, so
sure.
I do like the Varus a little bit more because I think it lanes slightly more aggressively into the Ashe. It allows you to leverage Nami's poke sustain just that little bit more, especially on the caliber of a Bang & Wolf lane.
Yeah, it's always difficult to lane against Bang & Wolf. Betty and Sword Art not having the best tournament. I think I agree with Freak here. The Syndra could very well come through.
It's the downside of flexing so heavily on blue side. You got to reveal eventually. Going up against Faker. I do like the draft here overall from the Flash Wolves.
There's a lot of really cute synergies. I really do like how a lot of this went through. And now, Orianna, typically a bad matchup into Syndra, but it's still one of his best champions, and it fits the lineup. It's a lot of AoE, a lot of crowd control. They can dogpile area effect damage down.
Look, when your shockwaves are about 10 or 20% bigger than anybody else's, you just pick Orianna every single time.
Faker willing to do it, and has always been willing to do it. He'll play all this stuff. He'll throw at the Master Yi mid, only have the Olaf counter pick to Aurelia like he has had at past international tournaments. But here, just pick the Orianna. At any point, Faker is a huge threat on him.
And then we start tallying up the pushing lanes here. Rumble has the push on Fizz early on, but Fizz always had that kill pressure if Karsa can visit. It's a good thing about Lee Sin as well. He tends to do well, even if he has to gank lanes that are already pushing in, can surprise in multiple angles, ward dashes here. It is crucial, though, that Karsa gets a good early game, and that is also what propelled them forward domestically so often, a little visit here and there.
Yeah, and the Fizz can do very well into Rumble. We've seen it before. Huni plays up so often, and if Flash Wolves is willing and trying to adapt to the way this tourney is played, this is the path forward.
And I think the top side of the map is where you play right now for Flash Wolves. Maple, one of the few mid laners who I think can stand up against Faker as far as a 1v1 matchup, especially with champions considered. And we do think that Karsa is a great jungle as well and can match up against Peanut.
Let's start painting the dream then. Early gank top by the Lee Sin, gets him ahead, and then pair up with Syndra, push in on level 6, go top again, camp the hell out of Huni while your bot lane hopefully sustains and survives, and you don't run into that Peanut guy. That has to be the strategy for Flash Wolves here.
And SKT don't have any guaranteed crowd control on the bot side. You can flash the bubble, you can flash the Varus ulti. That bot lane from Flash Wolves can push, and if the Graves shows up, they can get away with it most likely. We'll see if that can happen here. Flash Wolves down but not out, absolutely looking to get a revenge win over SKT and keep that LMS Pool 1 hope alive. And here we go into the game. SKT 6-0, hoping to close out the last 4. Flash Wolves hoping to keep pace with the rest of the top 4.
Yeah, Huni right now, 10-0 on this Rumble, including 3 games at MSI. Definitely a comfort pick, and that is only this year. And historically, he's played his champions so often. He definitely mastered it by now.
Yeah, and pay attention to the amount of pressure that Huni applies on the map in this game. I was looking at the forward percentage stats earlier, and that's the percentage of time you're above halfway in between 0 and 15 minutes, so still in the early game. Huni is on the enemy side of the map 40% of the time, which is absolutely absurd for any laner, but he's been making it work so far at MSI.
Especially considering, like, when you recall, you're forcibly on your side of the map for about 40 seconds. You have to walk back for the most part. And definitely an aggressive player. We'll see if that does get punished. Peanut right now, just chilling in his own jungle. Nice poke right there from Bang.
Quite a few pundits were looking at the WPM, wards per minute from SKT as well, seeing significant decreases on everybody except Peanut, because Peanut's playing so much Lee Sin, obviously. And part of what has to do with it is just that they don't have to base this often. They're winning so hard and they're not getting pushed as hard. Like when SKT faced off against KT or any other strong Korean teams, they were challenged and at least have to match a lot of bases here to get the right times and slowly bleed out their opposition. But in these games, they can lane very often for very long times.
Yeah, interesting start as well here, invading for an early blue buff steal.
What it can achieve, potentially, is force the map into vertical jungling, and if you have to protect a losing matchup like the Fizz, and your bot lane is fine with sustain, it's actually going to mean that Karsa, even if he wants to go top, can't do it efficiently.
Yeah, and looking at this start from Karsa, does not get a good pull whatsoever from Maple. Syndra actually backs away because Faker had gone missing in the mid lane, so right off the bat, you can see Flash was already getting dictated to by SKT.
Yeah, there's 2 camps on the Graves, 1 camp on the Lee Sin right now, and we're only just started.
Heck, it's only half a camp. He didn't even finish the large draft there. Sure, he gets level 2. Sure, he gets 60, 50 gold out of it, but it's still not ideal.
Yeah, and we've seen this go wrong before. I mean, Flashers know that the blue has been stolen, so you feel a big pressure to get the enemy blue to prevent a 3-buff, and oftentimes the Graves will kind of rush over to that side, so you can see all these things the Flashers is doing to try and secure the blue buff. But really, Peanut's having a field day. He cleared 2 camps, he took his time, and now he gets to full clear his vertical side.
Yeah, that's the beauty of a simple macro move where you're essentially not doing anything tricky. You're just hitting a camp, a minion that you would hit anyways, somewhere else on the map, and you get a big advantage. Karma had to roam up to assist Karsa right there. They're losing lane pressure, which means Bang is not getting traded out of some CS. You know, it all kind of adds up right there.
Of course it does. Peanut is exactly 1 full camp ahead. They've taken 1 buff, 2 buffs. It's just rough stuff right now, of course. Level 3 versus level 2. It's a big lead for Peanut. Karsa trying to keep up as best he can.
That's the nature of this Lee Sin Graves matchup. It's all about pacing, clear times, call it what you want, you know. The Graves fast clears, the Lee Sin has to do a couple camps and then get some ganks for true efficiency. And I would see Jat's favorite thing.
Control the blast cone.
Gotta care about the blast cone.
Bottom lane and in top lane. Fizz actually does it really easily because you can just pull over the wall and hit it, but Huni very consistently does this. Notice on the other side, blast cone hasn't been controlled. Peanut would have an opportunity to a gank if Flash was continuing to push up.
He's waiting for them to push up again, obviously respecting the counter gank. Also doesn't wait around too long. The wave is in the right spot, you know what? Wait for 4 seconds, is a jungle there? No, base immediately, you know, keep up the efficiency.
And worth noting, of course, these players can usually call out when Sword Art or Betty leaves lane to go put a ward down. You say, hey, he didn't push up to the turret with his teammate. He probably went over to go ward that. If you satchel, it's not going to do anything for you. Don't bother. And you see Peanut stays on the other side of the wall and recalls safely. Now, this game is equal in gold, so despite the fact that there has been a significant out-jungling, I would say, from Peanut in the very early game, the gold basically neck and neck. Mid lane equal, bot lane equal, top lane equal as well.
And we immediately see something that the Flashers do well, though. 2 control wards, 3-5 minutes already in the inventories. These guys love combining control wards to get areas of fog of war that they then use to either put pressure on the map or just generate picks where they hide in the fog of war.
Yeah, far and away the most control wards of any team here at MSI. Maple actually buys on average 10 control wards per game, which is more than double that of any other mid laner. So that can be a path to victory. Hasn't worked out great for them so far.
Scar's actually placing a TP ward right there. Oh, Bang is super low.
Saved on a summoner heal, gonna land the Q. Karsa, I think, predicted a flash, predicted a juke, and Bang didn't do it. Just hits the summoner heal. He's gonna be fine on that one. Some pressure bot lane, but that's a flash down for Karsa.
Man, the sidestep confidence there from Bang, and also not healing at first, so he gets a little bit of move speed from his heal. Gets the flash out of Karsa. Not a good trade they took in lane, but he's still up on CS, and now they're going to go for a dive. Emity wants out of there.
He has to actually summoner TP away from the gank, and Peanut didn't have enough auto attacks left to kill him off.
Oh, imagine if he had a red buff failing there. That would be insult to injury right there. And again, we talked about it, how this Fizz matchup is great into Rumble with the early gank. That was the dream we were painting, and in a simple strike early on, the vertical jungle forces The guy could be on the bottom side, but it fails here. This is the hesitation, or like the difference between a montage moment and honestly a fluke.
Yeah, absolutely trying to predict the flash to the other side of the turret. A lot of players, when Lee Sin flashes over the wall, thinking, I got to flash through right away, but prediction goes wrong. Bang ends up healing and actually not really juking. He was just on his side of the turret.
He stopped moving. At least something.
Can't get the stun into Faker. You saw Faker running up and left just enough to not line up with Maple's E. And that gank's not going to happen. Ghost is down, of course.
And this is the difficulty when you're trying to research matchups. You can't open a Faker frog. I mean, you just can't. He'll always be at least even CS in losing matchups, or he'll be ahead randomly, and it's just so hard to see.
The reason he's League of Legends' best player and has been for years on end, basically. And everyone knows to respect him, respect his prowess, and any choice he makes, every mid laner in the world goes, maybe I should try that too. They'll always try. Everyone knows this man knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is Flash Wolves has played against SKT for about as long as any team would have. Maple, Karsa, and Swordart actually played against SKT in the 2013 Worlds quarterfinals as the Gamma Bears, but trade in the mid lane.
Big trade at that. Baker nearly taking down Maple. Mana pool low enough, but watch out. He's got 100 just now. He can't QR or do much else.
That's Flash.
Can Maple get the chase? He has Flash himself, but didn't have mana for the Q to follow up, I believe, so can't go for any more.
Makes you wonder why Swordart did not elect to trade his Flash for Faker.
Yeah, if you Flash exhaust, Baker must flash away.
And even then, there's a chance you could get the kill afterwards because Maple would have undodgeable skill shots on the way through. I agree with that. I think that should have been a flash for Swordart.
Then again, maybe he's just like, Faker without Flash, can't play safe, I don't want to overextend. I don't need the guy that ints because I used my Flash somewhere else. You know, it's so hard.
Flash into Faker because the Shockwave has the threat.
Well, here comes the fish when he puts the ulti down. Layers are pretty beautiful. The kick to get him off, but that's going to be the kill picked up. Why did Huni even bother flashing? First blood to Karsa.
Flash has been the story of this day. Betty, though.
Speaking of flashing, why not actually hit the button, Betty?
Yeah, is this the best Nami in the world, or is this Betty not flashing in time?
It's not flashing in time. There is no reason you do not flash that bubble. Huge mistake out of Betty.
You definitely don't flash after. Uses both summoner spells, still falls, and the advantage that Flash Wolves has gained in the top lane ends up being traded for an SKT advantage in the bot side.
But MND is still in the game here. He gets the early sheet. Potentially, he needs to leave his mark here. Maybe Maple can get some pressure mid and roll on top. That is the win condition right now for the Flash Wolves. Let's watch this again.
Yeah, Huni had cleared the blast cone, but Lee Sin can just board jump over the wall. Late flash, nice secure right there by Karsa. Watching the other side.
He has so much time. There's no way you outrun that. It's not even close.
Already slowed by the Nami E. Varus just auto-attacking straight away. Great combo by SKT when they knew that Swordart wasn't going to be there, and it has to be either Betty's farther back in the first place, just wait for the wave to crash against the turret, or flash. They're getting handled in that bottom.
They are 900 gold advantage out for SKT, and that's with the fact that Flash Wolves got first blood. So there's 1,000 extra gold worth of farm so far in this game, and it's clearly not in the top or mid lane. Rough stuff. Bang and Wolf pretty securely League of Legends' best bottom lane right now. And certainly some are mistakes, but handling their opponents.
And that's what they need to do. Punish. Whenever the support goes missing to help people deal with Faker, they will get a lead in the bottom lane. Whenever somebody goes missing or roams to deal with Huni, Faker and Bang and Wolf will take it up there. That is what SKT is so strong at. You can only attack the parts, but the sum generally tends to get ahead.
Yeah, and you just have to think about the dynamics of the team. Faker has the massive reputation, but Bang was the player who had the most DPM of any player in the LCK this year, and he really has been the star player. Here comes another combo.
There's lots of damage on the Betty, who chooses to stun the Nami and just dies for the CC chain. Beautiful ultimate from Bang. Beautiful layering by Wolf. Art in the bot lane here for SKT.
That is just utter beauty. Bang with the wall shot. He hides slightly around the wall, probably in fog of war right there as the minions were approaching. Gets a straight line on the Betty. And then Wolf just did the math right there, wave into flash bubble. This is just synergy at its finest. And they were actually, there was a Reddit comment, I can't vouch for the validity of the quote, but they were asking why Bang and Wolf don't play duo queue anymore. Well, they've played over 5,000 games together anymore. They don't even need to do this. And also, Betty, he was trying to find Bang. Found him.
Oh man, he did. That's not the way you want to play.
That's unlucky.
Unlucky.
Just really excellent play, of course. Not a lot of places you get to hide anymore. Betty now the butt of the joke. The recipient of a lot of damage now. SKT's bottom lane has certainly done well for themselves.
40 CS down.
Yeah. Flash left to find their advantage elsewhere. They got the counter pick at mid. That's not working. They got the counter pick top lane. They're trying to make it happen.
Yeah, I can't speak of this out of experience, but you must go down 40 CS once in a while, Freak. What do you
yeah. Keep feeding is how it works for me. It's very hard to come back to the fact that SKT can force the fights is the problem, right? If Graves shows up, you're just dead if you're on your turret. It's such a difficult situation to be in, and SKT can leverage that repeatedly. The fact that summoners are still down for Betty, no heal, no flash. It's a source of gold. It's a mine just waiting to get a pickaxe.
Oh man, that lane is so out of control right now. And interestingly enough, Flash Wolves would want to play towards the top side of the map. Still, Hooney's flash has been down. Karsa yet to make a repeat attempt and is worried about that bottom turret just because of the amount of gold that can go over and how Bang can take over the game.
And Hooney has developed in a very good defensive player as well when the situation needs him to be. So Flash Wolves, they're trying to patch out up this bottom side here with the Lee Sin presence constantly lingering for a counter gank, and Hooney is just giving respect where it's due. Now he's even roaming to mid lane. Maple's leaning so far to the left that he may actually get surprised. He backs off.
Nice, no pin on Maple just yet. Had a bit of action in mid lane, but nothing really permanent so far. See if Flash can get back to the top side. Ignite is back for MMD. Hooney's still missing his flash, but only for a few more seconds. This means, like, that flash timer is a timer of how long it's been since Karsa's last gank top lane. It's a flashless Rumble that is tower diveable. It's a very squishy champion, and it's been 4 minutes since anything.
And the way pressure cascade is really fascinating. Hooney moved to mid lane, allowing Faker to trade ultra aggressively, which Maple then read is like, okay, Rumble's missing, I'm going to yield. That actually prompted an invade for Peanut to then steal away the Raptors, and because Karsa's been hugging bot side for so long, these two camps on his left side, these Wolves and Grump, has been up for absolute ages. I don't think Karsa has actually farmed a camp in well over a minute and a half.
Yeah, he had the experience lead, but Peanut is very close to a full level ahead of him if he can get just another camp, probably get that off of Raptors. And even pacing-wise, he's not going to beat him to top lane anymore at this point either.
Flash back off school on the full 5 minutes, didn't have mastery for it. Peanut just doing the farm right now. Gets revealed by a hawk shot. At least Flash Wolves knows where he is, but if they can even use that information is an entirely different situation. Faker going to play for control wards. Doesn't see any. It's okay, it's clear. I can walk top if I want to.
And I wonder if it's worth for Flash Wolves to actually swap out of this bot lane. Just go top and look for like a 3-man dive on the Rumble. The problem is when you do that against a top lane champion that can burn the wave like Equalizer, you lose too much tempo. So they're so gridlocked in their current situation.
Yeah, unless they can pull off the dive right away on the Rumble, then maybe that pays off. But MMD is supposed to be winning the matchup, and if you put him into a 1v2, Fizz is terrible 1v2s compared to a Rumble. It's not a great trade if they can't get the kill for it.
Yeah, they have to almost go for like the split map dive, right? Where Fizz stays, fakes, haha, I'm getting traded upon, suddenly the bot lane arrives. But then SKT pushes this like feeble turret over and suddenly it's over. So for Flash Wolves, they're running all these scenarios through their head. They're not finding an answer.
Exactly. That's the thing that SKT does to you. They have a small way of pushing their advantage, and they leave very few openings for you to get any of your ideas across the board. I'm interested right there. SKT didn't go to finish the bot lane turret. Flash Wolves trying to get a kill onto Wolf here.
Well, they do get Wolf. Ooh, jukes! Oh. The Sonic Wave just barely. He was slowed for a bit longer, but Karsa couldn't land it, and unfortunately, not getting a lot of the ganks off just yet.
Also his bubble timing, in case he got hit by QQ spam, the bubble would have interrupted the Lee Sin there. Like, he's really on top of his money there.
Yeah, little timings and the small jukes is something that, you know, as much praise as we heap onto SKT for their macro decision making and champion select, their ability to sidestep skill shots is the highest. Watching Jin games at Worlds was insane with SKT. They almost never got hit by the Jin W.
Whenever it gets cast, it's like they're doing a group dance effort where everybody jukes to the left or the right. Like the penta jukes on Jin Ws were so satisfying to watch because they know it's coming. They see the cast animation like, you know what, I don't even care if it's going to hit me. They all preemptively juke.
It's the best team in the world for a reason. Even the individual players are at worst top 3 in their role, you've got to imagine.
Ooh, Arrow.
Arrow's going to land this time onto Wolf. Plenty of damage here. Does have flash, but can he get over the wall? Yes. But the Q's going to land this time around. Karsa's able to secure it. Flash rolls back on the board for the first time in a while. Only 1,000 gold apart, and this is certainly a much more competitive game than last time.
That's what it takes. Yeah, Wolf was actually over-invaded right there. Looked like he was trying to set up a play on the bottom lane. Didn't even get the deep vision, and this actually allows Flash Wolves to get aggressive. MMD, unanswered.
Oh, and Faker! We talked about the best players in the world, but that was not even close to that flash being on the wall. Suddenly, large mistakes from SKT.
Yeah, and if Karsa and Maple are not going to move towards MMD, well, then he just comes to death. He surprises that play entirely with his fantastic teleport here.
Maybe we should maybe we should compliment SKT more. The caster curse, we're like, man, best team in the
Finally!
world. No one does anything wrong. Several mistakes in a row now, and first turret to Flash Wolves means a gold lead, up 500. It's small, but it's something.
Yeah, and Huni, because he was respecting this matchup in the top so well, Fizz could be in the brushes. He wasn't actually actively pushing, so he only got about 200 odd HP off that turret.
But in typical SKT fashion, just when it seems like the other team is winning, they're not. SKT gets the turret and the bottom lane regains the gold lead, but we're going to watch this nice play.
Yeah, he checks if anybody's there. Well, turns out Fizz is, and then yeah, you have to flash before the Fizz happens.
Yeah, he actually had about another half second on the fish to walk closer to the wall. Faker did not want to miss that flash. A very rare mistake we'll see from him.
Happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. MMD back in this lane, only though got assists. So as far as the fact that he's been part of 2 very important kills, it's been low income for him. So he hasn't really shifted his item lead over Huni very much. As you've seen, Huni's been able to actually garner a gold lead and some turret damage for his matchup.
Yeah, well also the roam he made was not matched by Huni, so Huni got to shove about 2 full waves into the turret. Zony's Hourglass as well, defense against the fish. If MMD wants to leave again and Huni matches, or doesn't match, the turret goes down.
Yeah, it's down below half HP right now, about 40%. SKT starting up on the mountain. Drake, they're turning off for this one right now. No rush just yet, but we'll see.
It's kind of a weak map moment from Flash Wolves when Betty was catching that wave in the bottom lane. So they were kind of outnumbered right there. Now it seems to be just an objective trade here. With SKT tunneling very hard on this dragon, having Huni hold mid, but the top lane turret is under pressure. So the cross map could be Maple going top.
They look for Huni. He's going to pop the Zonies to get rid of the unleashed power, but there's still going to be enough unleashed here as Karsa takes the kill. 3 for him with the Q in the mid lane.
And this is big. In addition to that turret for Dragon Trade right now, there's a kill on top. Plus, there's a 4-man siege building in the middle lane, and there is no tower left in the bot lane to trade.
And this allows Flash Wolves to actually force SKT into some bad decisions because they can take full control of that top side of the map, and there will be a flashless defender in that lane because Orianna can side lane, but it's not a great side laner, so it's not like they have a LeBlanc they can sub into that top lane that is less vulnerable. This is a thing that Flash Wolves can actually play around here.
Not going to stick for turret damage, though. Could have gotten some autos off. MMD, though, burned his mana pool just to push the wave in and let them do a little bit of chip. More Flash Wolves are coming in, though.
Bait is being set up here.
It's because they have the vision control up in that top side right now. They can see anyone coming through the jungle. And that ward's even going to catch the people coming through the lane.
There's Wolf. They know it's 2 exactly. There's 3. They know how many are defending. Can they get the play? Not going to land the stun. That turret dangerously low, but they don't go for the kill on it just yet. Flash Wolves back off.
Yeah, a little hesitation there. MMD wanted to do the tempo play, which was basing, but then technically this turret could have fallen.
But if someone made that call 3 seconds earlier, hey, we're going to go for this play, that turret dies.
Yes.
So a missed call is the reason that turret is not dead right now. And now Betty chased down by Huni, flashing away. He's not going to make it out of this one, I don't think. He's trying to run, and actually he's going to be fine. Huni does not want to turn the ulti on.
You can actually W flash on Ashe. That's actually what happened there. Betty wanted to W to Huni and then flash away. But he actually aimed it a different way because he W flashed.
Yeah, luckily for Huni, luckily for Betty, the equalizer was just barely on cooldown. But whenever you're flashing away from Rumble harpoons, you have to actually flash the harpoon. The fact that he got hit by one flash and hit by the other, just flash during the cast time. Betty has not been playing well this game. 2 fairly poor flashes.
Yeah, it feels like he's trying to watch the other side of the map where he needs to send his arrow, where it's small shots, and then constantly get surprised. He walked up for vision and got the Varus ulti in his face. Right now he got surprised by Huni. He also, as the map opens up, he's constantly catching these sideways. Look where Betty is right now. Look where the rest of the team is. He very much so seems to be kind of just put into this lineup as an additional AD carry rather than being a true part of the team.
Well, unfortunately, he's playing Ashe. The hawk shots at least are helpful. He can help get vision for the team and do something else across the side of the map. Maybe the arrows can land afterwards. As far as chips leave alone, Ashe is one of the best, but you're right, Betty is certainly not part of the core of the team that has been doing all the work. Lowest KP on the team and all the deaths.
Now we're also looking at the way Flash Wolves beat SKT in the past. It was built on a great foundation of vision. And they're looking to neutralize SKT, find out what they're doing early. They're doing the right moves all the time, but if you figure them out early, there's always a counter.
Exactly, and I think a little bit of it is just happenstance that Flash Wolves does have a better record against SKT than many teams, but the vision control is very real for Flash Wolves. When they do get mid-game advantages, not even thinking about late game where sometimes they wait too long for the perfect play, but mid-game control ward vision denial or sweeping, even in the past, they have been better at that than any other team. So SKT makes such good decisions, but if they don't have the information to make the decision, then you finally force them to guess, and that's some of the ways the Flash Wolves have taken down SKT.
We'll see if they can make the guesswork keep going then. Flash Wolves looking to get some vision back, looking at both sides real quick. Flash Wolves, no deep boards, but SKT really none either. Only vision on their own side of the map.
And this is macro and hard mode right now, because both teams are running a 4-1 composition on an open map, which means you need to send people to side lanes that don't want to go there. Sword Art narrowly avoids that wave.
All right, that's going to be an ultimate down, and a fairly important one for SKT.
And that's why we see the buddy system. Bang can't go top alone, so he needs somebody with him. These 1-3-1s that we always talk of, they become 1-1-3s. 4-1 compositions, but we have a fight.
MMD wants to get a fight there. Bang is very far on the side, so is Wolf now in the jungle. Can they get the Shark on for max range? Looks for the shot, he's going to miss it though, and the TP turns into just walking away.
Yeah, good move by Wolf there. Incredible patience, and also a lot of respect from Carson. Didn't even try to land the Sonic Wave because he thought Wolf would juke it or flash it. Was hoping for the fish to land.
Yeah, that top lane turret that Freak was talking about earlier, if that went down, there was actually an alternative path possible for the Fizz, you know, at least a pivot in terms of movement.
Yeah, we're not going to be that case there. Of course, Betty also didn't shoot the arrow out. Maybe you look for that when the team is going for the dive on Nami. Like, shoot it out, right? I feel like there's some upside there for that one. Now towards the bot side we go. MMD wants it on Huni. Can't find any of the skill shots just yet. And of course, Shark is down as well. Not a lot to get just yet. There is the arrow. It's going to hit nothing, actually. Sidesteps with Faker. MD gets the shield, looks for the front line damage. But again, with no Shark, doesn't get much. Shockwave hits the front line. Doesn't mean a lot there either. Now Maple is in, has to wait out the exhaust. They didn't go for the unleashed power. Will they go for a Wolf? Yes, they do. Get the kill picked off now into Huni. Nice kickback onto Peanut. That's going to be 2 for 0 so far. And Huni's next up for the chopping block. Can they get number 3? The slow is there. Yes, they do.
SKT was in a 4v5 that entire time, so Huni always one to apply pressure, but pushes up and overstays, and the rest of SKT get caught trying to do that, but they still get a ton of turret damage.
Yeah, tons of minions here going towards Bang. He's going to finish up that turret off as well. But we still need to look at how the game is progressing here. Bang needs to be careful.
Lee Sin's not terribly far behind, but Sword Art can't really duel Bang. Carson's still coming, though. Carson does have boots, too. But there's a lot of move speed on Bang. He's got Zeal and boots, so I think he gets away.
Yeah, there's also Faker in the river.
Yeah.
We need to keep an eye on MMD now. What can he do against Huni? He's picking up a lot of gold in this fight, so a lot of the gold went to Bang here. Really good carry, efficient in team fights. This is the persistence from Flash. They realize they're in a fight before and they power on through.
Exactly. They know that Huni's very low, can't get much off in that fight. And when Faker Shockwave is down, it lowers the threat. But nearly getting a pick in the jungle.
Some damage there. No really major cooldowns burned, though. Neither ults from Faker nor Carson. Wolf puts down the tidal wave. They're okay.
Flash will need to play with a lot of respect, though, because while Fizz is good into Rumble, bot lane there's a teleport advantage currently available on him.
Pointing out, even though the kill score is 7-2, the gold is practically identical right now. The fact that SKT are up a turret right now is a pretty important one, but one more turret does finally fall. Looks like that was in the top lane as minions chunked that one out. Makes it back to 3-3.
And SKT being down and killed too close in gold is almost always the case because they play the map so well. But breaking down the gold advantage, it's a 1,000 gold lead for MMD, a 1,500 gold deficit for Betty. So Bang is in a position to keep trying to turn on in this game. Phantom Dancer completed as well as QSS, and on the way to the next item, you can see nearly 10,000 gold to 2020.
Yeah, but in the breaking points, macro-wise, hang on, here's another arrow, Bang gets caught, QSS.
Critical breaking point to have finished at that point.
Yeah.
That's gold lead's working for you right there. If you get the same gold as Betty, he doesn't have that item.
At the same time, Betty can still provide utility while being down gold. And it's all up to the Flash Wolves right now to get Huni in a lane with MMD and then remain or keep out of the 4v4 neutral and have MMD pressure out, but they haven't really been able to play around him too much in this game.
They haven't just yet, but we'll see if something more comes out of it. Betty on his way towards the Quicksilver Sash, maybe Hex Drinker as time goes on. I'd personally like Hex Drinker based on the fact that it's more damage coming out of the fact that it's an Orianna and a Rumble, less CC, but we'll see. Faker holds onto the top wave. Quick Drake pickup for Flash Wolves means they're up at Infernal overall, tied on Mountains.
Yeah, but they lose kind of the push in the other two lanes. That's always how this goes. Like, you make a play somewhere, they get the minions somewhere else, and they can get some vision or some pressure. But now Huni has to flash in his bot lane, and MMD, finally, this pressure is mounting up.
Yeah, it's impressive as well that MMD is having this side lane performance. They got to pick the good matchup. Once again, SKT just blindly pick a top laner, but this time, unlike last time where it was Fiora into Nautilus, Flash Wolves had the answer, and it is working out pretty well for him.
Ooh, look at the creative play here. Bang is lingering, shadowing for Huni, and MMD respects it enough. That is constantly what you have to do. SKT, they're so good at moving the lanes constantly over and over, so you can't fall into a pattern of expectations.
As you can see, this is not able to steal the blue away. Gonna go pretty securely. See if they can rotate somewhere else.
Yeah, again though, with Huni down there and Bang showing, Flash Wolves get tremendous control of the Baron area. They also have the Mountain Drake, so even though they don't have tremendous Baron killers, that Baron goes down a lot faster.
And that is the beauty played at the highest level. It's at this point that you're not even watching the screen, you're just watching the minimap. 2 dots go bot, that means there's only 3 max in the top side. If Flash was at forward there, they can get an advantage, whether it's camps, vision, the implied Baron. There is so much going on at the same time, and these guys are constantly changing it up.
Flash Wolves is also in a point in the tournament at 2 and 4 up against SKT. They really want to get those wins. They're on the brink of not being able to make the top 4, but a win against SKT when no one else has been able to scratch them would be tremendous.
It would do a lot for your confidence, and especially with the fact that, again, you expect most teams lose to SKT. Like, if Flash Wolves is 2 and 5 after this game, it's like, well, they had the hardest schedule. They played SKT in the second round robin early on. There's still room ahead of them. If they get this win here, they're 3 and 4 with no SKT to play left until the playoff stage. Maybe they are in a good spot, and again, keeping that pretty important.
All right, they've done step 1. They pushed out mid. They're moving into the river right now. Look at the 3-man squad reactionary from SKT. Not 1, buddy, but 2 you bring. But then there's the flank from Maple. Very creative pathing here, challenging, not allowing SKT to simply push out that top lane.
SKT actually on the back foot. Look where the wards are, look where the players are on the mid-map, as you mentioned, Crepo. When SKT's catching waves at their turrets, that means they're not in position to force play.
Yeah, they hang on right now because they moved Huni from bot to mid. So that obviously makes the 5v4 stronger there. Flash Wolves have to yield. So right now, Flash Wolves top side is in a defensive position, waiting for MND to put pressure. Once Huni catches that wave, that's when they will strike back. Hopefully, some of that vision still remains for them.
See the vision control can stay up, though, despite the wave pressure back and forth. SKT just taking away as much gold as they can, and especially in games that have been a bit slow paced, right? It's 9 kills in 28 minutes. Efficiency really is very important. It's where you get most of your gold. The jungle camps dying on respawn, the minion waves not dying to turrets, you're catching them in time, and if you get chunked out, you miss 120 gold worth of minions when it gets pushed away. Now look for the play. Nice dash by Peanut to get away from the ward hop, but there's the arrow. The stun on Faker, and he's been deleted. No ulti available. Wolf next up. The Shark is in. That was nicely played. 2 for 0. They've gotten control again.
They're going for Baron right here because Huni canceled his teleport. He has Equalizer here. This may be a bait and switch. There is no vision in the pit.
SKT can make it to defend. They just put another ward down, but it is so difficult to expect the Equalizer to fly through. Will Flash Wolves finish the appeal.
There's no vision though. They could even hide in the pit right now. Peanut has to face check.
6,000 health, that's what SKT saw. There's enough time, they don't even do much for it. And Flash Wolves, will they stay on this one? They are going to try. They do good damage, but Peanut's in range. Gotta respect this though, and Flash Wolves squander the lead.
So much patience from Huni, not equalizing, but so dangerous too. They have to guess how low the Baron is because they didn't have vision of it that whole time.
They got one glimpse of 6,000 in the middle of that. They saw, okay, it's not in smite range. We can kite away again.
They knew it was started with the blue trinket, then the Graves walked up. It's just, this was a beautiful dance from both these teams. I love the respect that's going back and forth.
Bangs down in the bot lane, Huni's top with no JP. Peanut doesn't have anybody to come check with them.
It's a fake out. It's a bait and switch. The Flash Wolves, they fake their base. Now Peanut, he has to figure out what's going on. He knows they're in the pit because he saw the ward.
1,000 health. They're going to kick him out. He might just die to the Shark. Now, is there going to be a steal? There's no chance. Absolutely perfect by Flash Wolves. Couldn't have been better. Baron.
Flash Wolves struggled to finish Baron earlier in the tournament against G2. That was beautiful against SKT, the entire sequence.
Oh, they're so on top of the information here. Look, the push wave that we were talking about, Huni catches, well, instant reaction Betty. He's behind in goal, but it doesn't matter. He finds Faker in this fight. MMD single-handedly wins the backline.
Arrow into stun chain, or the other way around between Maple, but that type of CC controls got Flash Wolves hyped up.
But then the fact that they don't get sucked into the hype, they don't Peanut knew that they were in the pit. So Karsa, he does the smartest play ever, goes out and kicks him in.
Yeah, first Baron SKT has conceded this entire MSI. So now it's about whether or not Flash Wolves can use it and how can SKT defend, because they still have tremendous zone control with the rest of their team composition.
This game feels like every game Flash Wolves wins against SKT. They're doing middlingly in the group stage, and then somehow they just play to SKT's level. Minor mistakes here and there, yes, there have been some mechanical ones, but Flash Wolves playing appropriately, playing properly. MMD split pushing well, 3-0-2 in a tournament. He's been terrible in so far, and Flash Wolves can keep this level of play up. They can.
And it forces SKT, look, they made that decision without having very much vision control. They're completely abandoning the jungle because the control words of Flash Wolves are right there. And MMD has really been the key, because that was the huge thing missing from Flash Wolves' play.
And how flexible is he? So many top laners would go top here, go for the hard push on tier 2, because that's their role, right? The split pusher, he goes top, joins mid to give assistance, to give the guarantee that Flash Wolves as a team can take bot lane tier 2.
And Flash Wolves need to keep making good choices. You can never count SKT out in this game. There's a reason they're 6-0. There's a reason they're the best team in the world. 1.5 minutes left on Baron. The lead only 3,000. How much more can Flash Wolves get with this power play?
Have to keep tracking Faker's Orianna ball, because he likes to hide it in back and forth fights and then pull the trigger.
So threatening with that shockwave. It's why it's his most played champion of all time. He will always have the opportunity to make a play with it, but Flash Wolves have taken down SKT before.
See if they can do it here. A lot of Magic Pen is available for Faker. Ashe splitting in the bot lane right now. MMD near the flank, but again, you don't want to dive without your bot laner around, but it creates space though. The threat of the MMD dive has pushed SKT away, and that's the turret going down.
Yeah, but that's not what they're doing. They're just playing it so slow, and they're going for a rotation topside. This is beautiful. Slow push top, catch mid.
Great ulti.
Deal with bot lane. No, if you buff them.
And MMD was smart, exactly. Melee minions get significant damage reduction with the Baron buff on them. He jumps forward, they get the stun on Peanut. The Shark is there, he's gonna die for this one. And SKT probably should not have defended a turret 2v5. That is a mistake, and it's gonna be Flash Wolves gonna get another turret picked up.
Absolutely, SKT not keeping up with that turret rotation. Peanut alone from the rest of his team. Wolf not close to help peel with Nami.
Oh, and I love this iteration of lane switches. It was MMD in the top lane that initially pushed his wave. He went to catch mid, while his team was bot. They didn't go 5-man mid because it's easy to hold that. They kept Betty bot lane, use that pressure, switch it top lane while somebody was dealing with it, and now they're hitting the base 5v4.
Now Huni has no equalizer, Peanut's not even alive. Flash Wolves is just running right into the base.
15 seconds from the jungler, inhibitor turret is gone. When can SKT get themselves a fight? The kickback on a Faker! He's gonna flash, but he's still dead! That's 11-2 in kills, and Flash Wolves looking to close out if they can do it. Peanut just now back alive, but it's still a 5v4. Baron buff on, and timing out soon enough. Looks like it's gonna be Flash Wolves going for the reset, but now they're up 6,000 gold.
And a mistake from Faker, do not flash in time. You gotta respect Karsa's Lee Sin here. If he closes in, he will try to kick flash you, and you can't react, because when you get kicked, that's a frame where you're locked out.
Karsa making so many plays, as he somehow seems to do against Faker on the international stage. It's like an SKT buff, but they're still needing to close this game. They're playing at such a high level right now.
SKT have only found 2 kills and 3 turrets in this game. So while their moves were so solid, it's almost like it passed by us here. Only 2 deaths on Betty, and everybody else is deathless.
Watching this one more time, SKT just didn't have a good way of defending, but watch Karsa right here, just a tiny little ward jump before flash kicking Faker, and then Sword Art immediately with the W, even after Faker would flash. They are safe to blow everything on him because Mooney has no equalizer at this point in the game.
You can see how excited Flash Wolves are about this. They know they've had a mediocre tournament, but now taking a game against the best team in the world spells so many good things for your future.
And the group stage is 5 days long with 2 games a day. You need to be able to not tilt, and that's what this Flash Wolves team talked about. They've been together for so long. The core of this team, Karsa, Maple, Sword Art, over 4 years. They've won, they've lost, they've been through it. So that's why they wanted to stay calm, find a way to adapt to the tournament meta. Get a shielding support. They didn't win lane, but mainly get that top priority. SKT disrespected them and dared them with that early pick rumble, and Flash Wolves have responded with the pick and also with their in-game play.
And they squeezed out a 5,700 gold Baron power play against SKT, a team that knows how to defend and minimize their losses when they do make those few mistakes. They're far in between. What a fantastic performance. Even if Flash Wolves somehow lose track here, they've done great things in this game.
You can't let this game go. If you lose this one, I think you actually are so heartbroken, because there's got to be so much faith and happiness in your heart right now if you're Flash Wolves or a Flash Wolves fan. You're like, we're beating SKT, just don't screw up, and oh baby, it's going to be great. And if it does slip, I feel like you are so shattered. The likeliness is slow. Sorry, the likelihood is very low. I misspoke, but they are in such a good position.
Yeah, and with Baron buff up again in 50 seconds and double mountain for Flash Wolves, the threat of the Baron does insert a sense of panic into SKT when they're trying to check the pit. It's also interesting how most teams go with double scrying orb at this point of the game. They're actually triple sweeper on SKT. They're so concerned about being seen by wards that they're kind of giving up some of their vision.
Yeah, they're putting the goal or the direction here to keep their jungle defended with the multiple sweepers in different iterations. The problem is they have a hard time face checking it. Look at Flash Wolves as well. Right now they're condensed. As 5, they're getting top jungle control, but I would love to see MMD now move to the bottom side of the map and push there and put pressure as his Fizz.
Splits up soon enough, or Flash will just keep everyone together and just decide to never have the chance to be split up.
They may just commit. They also have a very few control wards. Some of these guys are maxed out in items. For example, there's a potion on Maple. Apparently he still needs that biscuit. No control ward there.
Yep. See SKT coming down through the mid lane, looking into the river. Looks like SKT does want to contest on this Baron. MMD is tanking it. He's getting some MR and armor shredded off as well.
If SKT are ever going to fight their way back in the game, this would be it.
Back walks into tank it. The QSS, and the Shark's not going to land either.
Such a smart move right there by Bang. A flashless AD stepping in front of an Asher because he has QSS, but now that is down, and there are other ways Flash Wolves can initiate.
But now the Detente is actually moving in Flash Wolves' favor, because look at the top lane. Minions are amassing. While usually 5v5 is great if you don't have side lane pressure, SKT need to deal with that top lane somehow.
So Huni's recalling. There are some wards around. Carson waiting in the wings, sees Peanut. Decides he's not going to go for the fight just yet. Huni just going to clear minions in the base, and they're given time for it.
He still does have teleport, though. SKT will need to get a good ward down for him to TP on. He can come behind with that.
Beautiful by Carson. Gets him away, gets him back, and it gets him out. Nicely done. Kicks Peanut, gets the smite now on the Wolf to smite it down by the unleashed power of Maple.
Yeah, Jack was right on the money. There weren't enough scrying orbs to get vision. There was no knowledge here, and because it's so late in the game, they could easily tank that Nasher. Huni is playing janitor in the base, but they've lost their support.
And the gameplay by Maple there, 7 orb ultimate, just straight up one-shots Wolf in the end. Now Baron in a 5v4, they get it on Faker.
Are going to Faker, plenty of damage, Shockwave by sometime. He gets not a lot done. Carson still wants in, he's tanky enough. 5v4, they've got the middle inhibitor turret down.
Now look at the discipline here. MMD was called back by his team. They just said, no, focus in it first. Another arrow back, no QSS.
No QSS, none is there. The damage output's in. They're going to knock down the bot laner. Huni's next up on it. And he's going to pop Zonias, but he's going to die for this one. Not even a chance of getting out. And Flash Wolves have done it. They have taken down SKT. They have handed them their first loss of the mid-season Invitational. Maple Vein plays one more down, and it's Flash Wolves giving up only 2 kills the entire game, improve to 3 and 4, and take down the best team in the world.
And what a huge victory for Flash Wolves. It's one thing to take down SKT, but also in the context of the struggles they have been having in this tournament. They were 2 and 4 coming into this game, and SKT were looking like gods. They take them down and improve to 3 and 4.
Literally goosebumps. So many moments of greatness. It started in Pix and Ban when they got the Fizz, but they banned down the Echo and they told SKT, you know what, we're going to pick Sidra, like Freak pointed out right there. The Orianna wasn't.
The tournament, the question is, will it be enough to dig them out of the hole that they're in? For the inside story on that upset window, let's check in with Shox and the Flash Wolf support.
Well, thank you very much, guys. And of course, I had to grab one of the Flash Wolves, and it's Sword Art here with me. And, well, congratulations up first. What an amazing performance. And the first thing I want to ask you is, between kind of the horrible loss to G2 yesterday, which was the worst loss of a tournament, to coming back today and beating the world champion, what happened with the Flash Wolves overnight?
首先恭喜你们获得刚刚那一场比赛胜利。你们昨天输给了 G2， 但是今天又打赢了 SKT。你们在昨天晚上做了什么样的改变呢？
昨天晚上其实也没做什么改变，然后最主要是的话，我觉得是因为我们这场的话，我们有让卡萨去做一些前期的滚动风向，然后我们线上又有稳住，所以我们才能打得。
I don't think we did that much change overnight, but in this game we were able to let Karsa play really aggressively and snowball in an early game. Plus our top lane was very, very stable, and that led us to victory.
Yeah, some other teams have been able to get those early victories versus SKT, but no team has been able to close it out. How much of like the history of you guys playing versus SKT gives you confidence in games like this?
我们发现很多队伍在 MSI 的时候都有办法在前期打赢 SKT， 但在之后的话比较难获得胜利。那以你们之前的战绩对上 SKT， 对你们结束这场游戏的信心有多大？
我觉得其实我们会赢 SKT， 我觉得有一点是风格上面的克制吧，因为他们打得很自私化，就是很稳定，但是我们会打得很进攻，所以我们有的时候可以抓到他们一些破口。
I think we were able to win against SKT is because of the play style. They were playing very conservative at a very standardized place, but we were able to play aggressively and find those advantages.
Yeah, I do want to put the spotlight on your performance as it was fantastic, and it has gone quite up and down and not ideal for the Flash Wolves up until now. So what are you going to take for this win, and how are you going to convert this and make sure that the Flash Wolves stay playing like this and make it to the next round?
闪电狼这几天的表现上上下下，那你们获得这场胜利之后，对你们来讲有士气上有增加吗？
对我们队友来说一定是有很大的增加，然后我希望我们接下来每一场比赛。
Fnatic remade the top 4, playing a lot of carry tops. His Fiora, his Gangplank, very, very good. You saw him over in North America playing for Immortals, where he played things like Lucian for fun, but also a very big carry top laner there as well. And it seems like Huni's style had been so much of the high damage. Let me carry the game top laners. Now in SKT, he's had to learn to play more back as well, but certainly can attack MMD.
Yeah, and I mean, that is definitely going to be one of the biggest mismatches. One of the biggest matches I'm super excited to see is Faker versus Maple. Two of the very best mid laners in the entire world going head-to-head is always really exciting to see.
I'm sad we don't get LeBlanc, though, in this matchup here. I think both these guys are obviously some of the best in the world at playing that specific champion, which is why also she's banned away. She is the champion getting banned the most. Been like that actually for quite a while. People figured out that even after the nerfs, she was still fantastic.
Exactly. Distortion, big nerfs there. However, the Q bouncing, still very, very powerful. And we're going to see mostly top lane focus here. Not a big surprise as we keep mentioning MMD and all the focus that teams are putting on him. They're trying to protect him a little bit, but it was a bit surprising the Rumble ban for me from SKT, as Huni is an absolute monster on that. They don't want to give it away as a first round pick though.
Right, yeah, I feel like the reason they banned Rumble is because the one blind pick that MMD has picked and even died on a few times but still had an impact on is the Rumble. Happened in the LMS, obviously it happened here at MSI, so I feel like they're just trying to target him and remove his comfort pick and try and put him maybe on a skill matchup against Huni, because that would not be pretty.
A couple of shields getting taken out as well.
Sure, I mean, you know that Bang is a player that is happy to play the more carry style. Played a lot of Twitch very recently, has been very good on him. When you contrast with someone like Betty, who has been just a second support down to that bot lane, exclusively playing CC champions down there. So, double shield comps are exclusively an SKT thing.
Yeah, so now the question is, do you take Lee Sin or Graves, or do you just trade them later on and grab something else for first pick? But there are very few very valuable first picks right now. Lee Sin is definitely one of them.
Lee Sin is definitely one of them, and people are very quick to jump on, oh yeah, undefeated on Lee Sin, why are you giving this over to him? His Elise is also magnificent. Like there's so much that you would have to ban away, from SKT to take this out.
Right.
Lee Sin is definitely one of the champions though that you expect Peanut to go for his aggressive playstyle. You talked about, molding players to SKT though, Freak.
And what I'm excited about is it's a no jungle ban game, so Peanut and Karsa, arguably the two best junglers of the tournament. You can make a case for other ones here, but two extremely top-class junglers get to play pretty much whatever they want and go ham on each other.
Yeah, I like that Lee Sin has taken the #1 spot over Graves. It was actually Graves earlier in the tournament who would take him, but they realized playmaking potential is important, and of course you can still trade it for the Graves here, which is fine for Karsa. Tahm Kench again. We always talk about these trends that develop during a tournament. Tahm Kench has now, for some of these teams, become really high priority pick.
It does make a lot of sense, with the Ashen Varus still very high priority for a lot of teams, but also mid laners that have a lot of pick. Talia is very big now, Syndra's very big now. You're getting a lot of things that people being able to save 180 carry from a pick like that means the difference between a team fight.
Now, I want to see Echo or Fizz here from SKT. The reason they can take Fizz is because they can still flex in top lane. Worst case, they put it mid, and it is actually a good matchup for Faker against Syndra. Echo is the other traditional counter, but he doesn't need to lock that in now. He already showed the Fizz.
Plus, Fizz, if you do put it into the top lane, is a really, really strong laning champion because of the fact he can bring Ignite and use the abilities to escape ganks up in the top lane. There's a lot of pressure there. It actually adds a lot of very dynamic pressure to your drafting phase with both solo laners.
Yeah, it's actually quite a big surprise that Flash Wolves showed Syndra here. Again, red side is where you traditionally look for counter picks for your solo laners, but they said, you know what, Syndra is the #1 pick for us with LeBlanc being banned, and could also be that Maple doesn't really want to try and play like Echo or something against Faker Syndra.
Yeah, that is what's kind of strange about this, is you're right. Like, I guess if you thought the Syndra was going to get grabbed over here on the second round on the blue side, you mentioned maybe not want to play counter pick, but you're right, when the Grave's going to come picked up anyway, you can just wait on the Syndra to remove the option of counter picking by getting the bans here.
And I think a lot, other things that weigh into it besides just the Faker versus Maple matchup is the fact of that early Lee Sin pick puts more pressure on you because you know there's so much early playmaking, whereas the Graves is more farm oriented for the beginning.
Yeah, but it sadly just means now for Flash Wolves, if they start banning out Echo and these counters to Syndra, then Fizz just becomes the mid laner. So that strategy is kind of gone. You don't actually get that favorable of a matchup now for Maple that you otherwise could have maybe gotten on red side, because we know Faker likes to blind pick Orianna. And I think that would have been okay for Flash Wolves to play against, because they can then try and then roam away from the Orianna lane and create some of these picks in the side lanes they've done in the past against SKT.
Or look for that Hall of Fame solo kills on Faker in the Syndra versus Orianna matchup.
That's fine too.
Trying to get your name up there in lights.
You go the Gragas ban. So yeah, several tank bans coming through, and again, we know that Fizz can just simply go into the top lane and he'll just pick Echo anyway, and we'll just have 2 assassins and still have a good matchup for himself. So lots of tools to play with right now for SKT. But still, top lane bans coming through right now.
Yeah, they're trying to hurt MMD again. We know Fizz can go top lane for Huni if needed. Kled is another pick that MMD has played quite a bit, and Flash Wolves do have the last pick in this draft here, so they could take it as a last pick. It has been banned away a few times against them again. I think just more out of respect and maybe fear against MMD. I don't think they need to ban another tank, at least at this point. Or if they want to, it should be noticed.
Maybe Kled, if anything, for something he's
exactly
comfortable on. It looks like a first pick Ashe will be coming through for Flash Wolves, though, based on the Varus ban. You pick #2 in that generalist role for the bot lane, and the final ban is going to be Kled right there. So is it going to be another 4-letter word with Ashe getting grabbed?
Good prediction, Freak.
Thanks, buddy. It's not hard. Just saying. Jin?
Yeah.
Oh no!
I think they missed the joke there.
I did. I actually didn't. I didn't look over.
Honestly, though, we were looking at the setup here with the Varus ban from Flash Wolves for this pick for Betty. We've mentioned it a couple times, though. The champion pool for Betty has been just mainly the utility AD carries. It has been the Ashe, it has been the Varus, it has been the Jin. It has not revolved around end game scaling 80 carries like this. So this is a very interesting look to see from Flash Wolves here. There's only been a spot couple of games in their home league where Betty was actually on the end game carry.
Betty's played 40 games of Ashe Varus Jin.
That's what I'm talking about.
And 8 of not. None of those have been Twitch right now. There is a significant difference in play style here for the player. He's got a Tom Catch support. He's up against a Kog'Maw. Now maybe even Renekton to dive on him. Keep in mind the mid-Fizz scary as well. And suddenly, a lot of weight is on Betty's shoulders.
Yeah. Betty's Twitch pick here, and the very weak 2v2 lane bot for Flash Wolves just opened up. Some late game picks from Bang as well. And Fiora, that is a blind pick right now up in the top lane. You could potentially take Renekton on the side of MMD against it and try and really bully that lane.
I actually really enjoy this. SKT have 2 super strong, assassin solo laners here, basically. And then the Kog'Maw doesn't even have a bunch of extra shields. They want to work off of the pressure. Kog'Maw actually does spike pretty early, just on an item or 2. It's not really the old Kog'Maw that people think about. You have to farm all super late game. But so much damage here possible from SKT.
Blind big Fiora.
I love watching this team.
And you do not get punished at all. Like, that is actually quite surprising. Obviously, when you are SKT, you're 4-0 already. You can gamble in the bigger ban phase here and there. MMD did not feel confident taking any sort of skill matchup against Huni right now. So he takes a tank, accepts that the late game is so heavily in favor of Huni that Flash Wolves have to try and get ahead early on and just try and force team fights with this Nautilus. Otherwise, that side lane it's going to be 2 or 3 towers in favor of SKT, and then Huni's going to run all over the place.
Exactly. It's going to be the double teleport. We're definitely going to expect that, and it's going to be so scary. The mid game is always where you look to SKT, and this is where teams talk about they're unable to act almost, because SKT, every minion wave they push, they then make another action to force you to a different area of the map, and you lose out slowly in pressure.
Really interesting as well with this switch, as you guys talked about, like, there were so many AD carries available. He could have gone for like all these standard AD carries, except for Varus was there, and he went for the Twitch. The only Varus was removed.
Wanted to play Twitch, had the option to go elsewhere. So a new style for Betty here in this one. Flash Wolves have always found it in them to do well against SKT. For some reason, this has lined up well against them. We'll see this happens again. When it doesn't look obvious, it still happens. They match up well in the early game, they match up well in the mid game, and maybe this is just that matchup where it clicks for them. SK Telecom T1 hoping that this is their first perfect international tournament, 4-0 so far. This is the last matchup for the first round robin. They will play 5 more BO1s before the bracket stage, but a clean sweep in the first side of the groups would look nice for them.
I like how we have 5 teams here at MSI. Playing just to try and make top 4, and then we have SKT trying to make it the perfect tournament. That is now their goal. That is the objective for them. Do not drop a single game.
This is very important for Flash Wolves. If they could improve to 3-2, you know, they were able to defeat SKT in the group stages of MSI last year, and this would definitely put them ahead in that race you're talking about of the other 4 teams.
Exactly. Now with obviously TSM beating G2, those 2 teams are sitting at 2 and 3 right now. Gigabyte Marine sitting at 1 and 3 so far. So getting one surprise win can actually mean such a massive difference.
And a win against a team that almost no other teams are expected to get wins against. So wins here are very, very potent.
Especially when you know every team is within reach of each other. Regardless at the end of the first round robin, everyone's going to be within striking distance of making or losing out at the end of the group stage. As we have a pretty low impact early game here. We had Wolf sitting the brush. Peanut going to go for a blue buff start. Looks like Graves will get Raptors.
And you always have to track the early information here. SKT have this crucial ward. It's not that crucial anymore, as you'll assume that Graves will start the Raptors. But this is going to give them confirmation. We'll track Peanut as far as his early route on Lee Sin. He is definitely one of the most aggressive that we'll see.
And it actually means that Huni saw MMD with their little early leash. So Huni's trying to wait here, see if he can get a few early hits on Nautilus, but MMD is taking a long route around. We'll find each other though.
Ooh, gets a good Vital there as well for a nice chunk.
Yeah, despite the Courage of the Colossus, actually some decent damage coming through. Huni already max stacked on Fervor, meaning plenty more attack damage coming through. And he's winning that trade pretty nicely. Keeps the Fervor on, gets another Vital actually, really outletting MMD super early on. Another good Vital spawn actually, queues up in a second. Gonna look for it, gets even more damage.
Also, you notice Huni was zoning him off of the experience, so he's even lower level, but Karsa is coming to even the odds.
Not gonna be level 2 at the start of this one. Here comes the attempt to chase it down, of course. There's no other CC for MMD, just the passive. When it times out, he can flash auto, flash Q. Karsa wants it, one more hit. The turret would block this shot. A trade of flashes. Huni left the TP early.
You have to assume Peanut's gonna go for an invade now. They had early vision on the Raptors. Karsa gave away his position.
Babel just put a ward down. As soon as you said it, Kobe, here, to spot if Peanut is actually walking to that blue buff.
What is important in the counter invades there is also the pushing in the bottom lane. Right now, right in the middle, so there's not a lot of extra support for him.
Now, flash trade from Karsa and Huni right now. TP used by Huni very early, though, to get back to the lane, and that can be very important for MMD.
You can still see, delayed invades to look for a lower level jungler on the other side, because even though Karsa is able to get to his blue side, he hasn't spent the time clearing, so Peanut is able to get the Scuttle Crab, but he gets revealed by the Scryer.
I like that move here from Karsa, just knowing there is a chance this guy might actually gank me. Another option is he goes down and places a ward in the entrance to spot the Lee Sin.
Exactly. It's basically mirroring the old play that we used to see, where you would use your early smite on the Wolves to get the Wolf Spirit. That no longer in the game. Now Scrying Orb is basically taking its place, and Karsa able to adapt.
We're seeing actually a pretty substantial lane lead right now for Maple. It's going to be +7 before the lane even resets itself. He's got an extra minion there to kill. Revealed by the fact that Lee Sin, actually Fiora's top side, and Maple should have to hug the bottom side for that.
This is very standard in the Fizz Syndra matchup. That Fizz will have to surrender some CS early on. Like level 6 is really the big point for Faker. normally what you say is that once you have ulti on Fizz, if you manage to land the ulti, well, you should expect to get a kill. Because then your jungler shows up and the guy's knocked up and that's a kill.
Exactly, and a lot of the extra CS that you'll see, variation in the matchup is if the Fizz has his jungle visit early. If you have, more threats for kill pressure, that's where he's able to kind of get extra CS off based on that.
Again, important also, as we highlighted before, Huni had to use early TP back to lane. So it means now MMD can push lane all the way out, and if he wants to keep the pressure, he can TP back to lane and get a bit of an advantage there. He's actually surviving for now, but we need 1 or 2 items on this Fiora, and then it's not going to look so good up in top lane.
Yeah, tilts later on. Worth noting, Huni is going for the reduced cooldown reduction masteries there, so it's only a 4-minute and 15-second. Or actually, a I forget the numbers. Either way, about a 4-minute TP timer instead of a 5-minute TP timer, and it means he's less gankable. It's already halfway back.
But also still getting the Krug wards up there. They just saw Karsa before that one went off, and so Peanut's still able to keep track of him.
So nothing happening just yet here as far as junglers are concerned. Gold is about equal. Peanut only up 30, so Karsa got an early gank off and has managed to keep up and farm. Credit to him for managing to keep his jungle afloat despite the early Lee Sin pressure.
Soon get level 6 for Faker here. He played this exact matchup in the LCK final against KT, and as soon as he hit that level 6 mark, well, he got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million kills. I think it was about 1 million.
About 1 million is probably accurate. I want to point out a nice little thing that MMD did right there, which is he's stuttering his passive applications that Huni will hit riposte. And then once riposte comes through, then he goes in for the rooting auto attack. It gives him the shield, it gives him the extra damage, very useful.
Meanwhile, you can tell about the setup that SKT are making right now. Even though it seems calm, the vision is exploding around that mid lane. The vision keeps mentioning Faker approaching that level 6, approaching the kill pressure. The vision is being set up, to make that play possible. Huni, though, is still the target up here.
Oh, we got seen. He just barely got seen. The anchor skill's going to land. But Huni's fine with that one. Yeah, Karsa just barely snuck into vision. Unlucky move.
Really good for SKT. They survive early on here. No one falling to any ganks. 6 is now hit by Faker. Huni's getting there soon. Peanut even finds time to do Dragon, or started at least, because Karsa obviously showed on top side.
Also, he just popped the Scryer's Bloom on the top side, so Peanut knows he's still up there another 10 seconds later, and he should be able to finish this one since his bottom lane is pushed in, and the bottom lane has priority.
And even on top of that one, Infernal Drake is the easiest Drake to solo. It is as squishy as all the other non-mountain Drakes, has no extra single target damage like Cloud, and no slows like Ocean, so Peanut level 5 solo with just 2 long swords, very clean, nicely done, and that's going to start a solid early game for SKT.
And now once we get, further into this laning phase, we have to remember double teleport on the side of SKT. That's going to be dangerous.
It is going to be dangerous. Bottom lane will be one area that has to worry about that. And bottom lane already going very heavily in favor of Bang and Wolf, who definitely are higher rated just as a duo, but also in this matchup.
And as we talked about in Champs League, Flash was needing kind of to get ahead early on, because you have a 1-3-1 comp by SKT with double teleport, so it's extremely difficult for these team fighting comps to stop that if you fall behind, because 2 lanes are getting pushed in. You can't stop the split pushes. You try and force a fight in the mid lane, and they TP in on you.
And they're already looking to get out of that bottom lane, rotate up top here with the duo, and try and pry open some space here around Huni.
They are lane swapping without having a push in the bottom lane or top lane, so it's not a fast-paced lane swap where you rush down the enemy tower, because you can see now Twitch needs to take the wave from his own tower and push it forward. This will give SKT plenty of time to react and actually get to their bottom tower tier 1 first. They can even TP Huni down to this bottom lane and dive MMD or just take the tower.
Exactly. The only thing is that Peanut will not be able to traverse that terrain, but Karsa has a red buff on Braze, which is tremendous turret killing power.
And it looks like the damage going a little bit faster from the Flash Wolves side. It's a close one to be sure, checking out everywhere. And it seems like Flash Wolves is a little bit faster on the play. And because they brought the Graves in, because they orchestrated the entire situation, first turret gold goes to Flash Wolves, 350 bonus gold because of that.
I'm actually sad Huni didn't just TP to the bottom lane. They could have taken that tower, given the full amount of gold to Huni, and then have him just sit bot lane and swap Bang and Wolf to the top side, because there is no Drake anyway. But Huni kept his teleport. He's now sitting top lane, looking at Flash Wolves push in this wave, and not really doing anything.
Move is now rotation towards mid lane for SKT, while Huni, as you said, is trying to pick up CS here at the turret. It's a little bit dangerous, but most of the focus from Flash Wolves should be on getting that turret down, getting that gold.
They can get for themselves turret down below half HP, and it's still just Huni alone. A new wave for SKT, not going to get as much damage as the other teammates did, and Wolf chunked up inside a turret, but the kickback is there. Looking for the plays to be had. Nice knockouts from MMD, but still taking down her first blood. Cannot defend that.
You don't go for a kill in the 1v3. You go like Huni's trying to do and just go for the minions.
Oof. Faker here using ulti as wave clear, just putting it there on the minion wave so it dies. They now get the tower in the bottom lane. MMD, he just messed that up completely.
Exactly. Complete opposite focus. You could see, as you mentioned, Faker and Huni are all about the minions, doing everything they can to clear out the minions. And even though MMD sees the perfect line onto Wolf, it's a 1 versus 3. What do you do after step number 1 of landing your hook?
Do you always need a step number 2?
Yes.
Having step number 1 is
if you don't have a step number 2, you are dead.
Yeah. Severe mistake.
Well, you need to tell him that. I like step number 1.
Even another minor point is the Nautilus ulti will do full CC and damage on the targets it passes through. He didn't even target the Kog'Maw who was in range. He could have actually stunned up Bang, and maybe that one less auto attack is the reason he lives. It's close margins, but either way, bad execution by the Flash Wolves top laner. It gives away the kill and gives away the fact that probably should have been 2 turrets to 2, not 2 turrets to 1 here.
Yeah, should not subscribe to the step number 1, question mark, profit like Deficio does.
Feels good when you're doing step number 1.
It feels good if you get to profit.
That's great as well, yeah.
You have to get past those question marks, though.
Well, the Riddler's in the way. Batman not successful in this game. Right now, it's just about SKT holding their solid 1,600 gold lead now off of some miscues by MMD. And it's funny because Karsa, I believe it was, said, you know, MMD got focused. Don't worry, we fixed the problem. Your opponent's targeting you is not a problem. That's your opponent's exploiting a weaker player. And MMD actually is being a weaker player in this game, unfortunately.
Sadly for him, and it's been a story, you know, in the LMS as well. He's not regarded as one of the best top laners in the LMS region. While you can look at like Mabel Karsa, obviously looked at as the best jungle, mid duo, Sword Art in the bottom lane. It's always been at least in contention for best support, fighting against some of the other big names. But MMD is considered just kind of middle tier, and we've kind of seen that this tournament as well.
And the cost, you know, of focusing up on that top side has been that this Fizz has gotten through, you know, unattended to. So Faker, right, well, he doesn't have any wave clear versus 5 people, but
a little bit. I don't know how good Fishes are at clearing waves. They can ride alongside them. Kick back on MMD, but Peanut gonna get stunned. He's gonna die for this one. Over aggressive ulti for MMD, probably gonna save the cooldown, but the kill comes through just the same.
I mean, if we're gonna criticize MMD for a 1v3 initiation, Peanut, he tried to do a fake there and ward hop to cancel, you know, the Q initiate, but then he stood around. So, you know, definitely some criticism for him as well. Huni looking to clean up, though.
To make the big plays, only gets 2 of the vitals, so has to get pushed right back out. Ulti by Karsa to buy some distance.
Alright, so Flash Wolves got a kill, didn't get the mid lane tower, so in the end, actually successful move by Peanut in obviously sacrificing his life for the tower. Faker without ulti top lane though.
Let's see, Huni getting some damage here, and MMD does not land the riposte.
This is a 4v3, but not a lot of dive potential, so I think Flash Wolves will be able to get out of that, you know, unscathed.
But SKT just want the tower now, because they know Betty's sitting bot lane. Let's see the play again. So Faker steps away to get a longer range on the fish to get more AoE from it. Peanut fakes and gets caught, but at this time here, you know, no one's actually hitting the tower. So yes, okay, it sucks you give up a kill, but
it did save the turret.
Yeah, exactly. You did actually defend your objective, and now you're back on the map.
Maybe it was the right play after all.
Maybe he had a step 2. Defend turret.
Yeah. Hey. Unlike MMD, the turret did stay alive.
It wasn't a juke. He was just trying to, you know, attract attention there and sacrifice his life.
He and Wolf both playing frontline shields with the squad, apparently. Quick ribbo going to go over to Karsa, no problem. Bang has been sitting topside. Ruin King done as a power spike. Betty just got his. He's recalled back to base, and he's now done freezing that bottom lane. Look at new lane assignments. Huni sitting in the bot lane. Although with the Drake up, you'd rather have your TP be topside, generally speaking. Of course, Faker does have one, but he's walking up there now.
Yeah, and we also talked about you know, the Fizz getting really nice through this laning phase. Faker has his proto belt completed on top of, you know, the extra security of tenacity from his Merc Tread. So he's feeling just fine and ready to split push.
We already hit this point we talked about earlier, where if Flash Wolves do not manage to really create any sort of advantage, they need to now defend 3 lanes against double TP and 2 assassins or 2 split pushers. That is just so hard to do unless you run a ton of engage. And they have someone MMD, they have someone maybe if they land, maybe a long range stun, but they need the Nautilus to be with the team then, and then therefore you can't sit and defend in a side lane. Flash Wolves are looking at the next 5 to 6 minutes as the opening to try and force fights. If they don't manage to do that, the game is just going to run away from them.
And you can see how important the Rift Herald is in this 1-3-1 that SKT are setting up there. They're sacrificing the Mountain Drake to do it. They put all of their vision up on that top red quadrant of Flash Wolves to prep that Rift Herald for Faker in the side lane.
It's really funny because we're still playing on 7.8, right? The old Rift Herald where it buffs one person. I have never seen a tournament with so many Rift Herald takes than MSI this year. Coincidentally or not, where on the live servers, everyone's, oh, Rift Herald's easy to take and it's really powerful and it's very obvious. Like, everyone remembers Rift Herald existed, and when you're right, we should take that more often in pro games.
I mean, in this game here, it makes perfect sense.
Of course it does.
You're running split push. You don't really want a team fight if you can avoid it, so that's why they don't want to contest the Dragon. Obviously, when G2 have been trying to take it, it's just actually been pretty bad calls. So,
sure. But they were playing some solo queue, and they're like, hey, this looks cool.
Yeah, let's get this one.
It is interesting. Either way, though, it is a game that SKT have been slowly grinding on a lead in. A couple of plays back and forth, but 2,000 gold. An arguably better Elemental Drake, and plus the Rift Herald on Faker, who can continue to split push to success. Top lane out are going to be attacked by a Bang, should be going down no problem. Flash Wolves hoping to find something else to do, maybe in bot lane.
Yeah, bottom lane or the mid turret. As we said, even though Peanut sacrificed his life and they didn't get it then, it was still heavily weakened. So that will be an option for Flash Wolves to attack. You can see in the jungle right now, Karsa's setting up vision for them in the bottom quadrant.
It's a good moment now for Flash Wolves, though, to try and make something happen. The problem is just they've been so behind when it comes to pushing out these lanes because they're respecting Fiora, they're respecting the Fist, so they're not pushing bottom and top lane first. They're actually waiting for SKT to leave those lanes before Flash Wolves push them out. And that means now they're always like 5-6 seconds behind on a potential play, and that's why they don't get anything.
And I think this is a good time to talk about the history of why, Flash Wolves, they talked about being the Korean killers, how they got their victories over SKT in the past. So often it was about Karsa making the early moves and getting early momentum started in the game. This time, since he was so heavily tied up to the top side with MMD and they were unsuccessful at getting much out of Huni beyond his flash, they lost one of their biggest strengths that we've seen in these matchups.
I was actually looking at like gank numbers from the junglers. Karsa is the least active jungler when it comes to spending time with his lanes. He only spends time with Maple. Maple is, funny enough, the mid laner who spends the most time with his jungler previously. Obviously, come before today started. I don't know, after the TSM game.
Fnatic remade the top 4, playing a lot of carry tops. His Fiora, his Gangplank, very, very good. You saw him over in North America playing for Immortals, where he played things like Lucian for fun, but also a very big carry top laner there as well. And it seems like Huni's style had been so much of the high damage, let me carry the game top laners. Now in SKT, he's had to learn to play more back as well, but certainly can attack MMD.
Yeah, and I mean, that is definitely going to be one of the biggest mismatches. One of the biggest matches I'm super excited.
Fnatic remade the top 4, playing a lot of carry tops. His Fiora, his Gangplank, very, very good. You saw him over in North America playing for Immortals, where he played things like Lucian for fun, but also a very big carry top laner there as well. And it seems like Huni's style had been so much of the high damage, let me carry the game top laners. Now in SKT, he's had to learn to play more back as well, but certainly can attack MMD.
Yeah, and I mean, that is definitely going to be one of the biggest mismatches. One of the biggest matches I'm super excited to see is Faker versus Maple. Two of the very best mid laners in the entire world going head-to-head is always really exciting to see.
I'm sad we don't get LeBlanc, though, in this matchup here. I think both these guys are obviously some of the best in the world at playing that specific champion, which is why also she's banned away. She is the champion getting banned the most. Been like that actually for quite a while. People figured out that even after the nerfs, she was still fantastic.
Exactly. Distortion, big nerfs there. However, the Q bouncing, still very, very powerful. And we're going to see mostly top lane focus here. Not a big surprise as we keep mentioning MMD and all the focus that teams are putting on him. They're trying to protect him a little bit, but it was a bit surprising the Rumble ban for me from SKT, as Huni is an absolute monster on that. They don't want to give it away as a first round pick though.
Right, yeah, I feel like the reason they banned Rumble is because the one blind pick that MMD has picked and even died on